not seen this in forever. My first ever phone. Wow. Whoa. Is that my first ever CD player? Wonder if this thing still works. Ha! Still loaded. Wouldn't you know it? What's on here? Oh, come on. Some of my first ever mix CDs. Wow. Just wow. Well, I am just going all out nostalgia today. What's up, everyone? John from Beyond ARTV. Time for a brand new episode of 7 on Sunday. Today, I'm going to be talking about the first 7 songs that I ever loved. The first 7 bands that I got into as a result of those songs. Now, a little bit of explanation and backstory. Yes, as you saw in that little intro that I showed you, here is my first ever CD player. You might not believe me, but this is it. It's been through a lot. I carried this thing everywhere for so long. In fact, it won't even stay open anymore. It automatically shuts. There's a couple of videos that I highly recommend you guys watching whenever you finish this video today. They're going to be in the end slate. One of them is one that I worked very hard on very recently, my top 10 Queens of the Stone Age songs. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about them in this video today, so you're probably going to want to expand on that even further, especially if you haven't gotten into them yet, want to check out more of their music. That top 10 is a great place to start. The second one is my 10-year love affair with music video. It's something that I made about 2 years ago, and I obviously, like I said, will link to it, but it's something that's very, very personal and gives you much more of an insight into how I got into music in the first place, what got me loving it, what got me inspired. And if you didn't know, 7 on Sunday is called 7 on Sunday. It started with the 7 theme. It wasn't just another random day of the week, like 6 on Saturday or something like that. 7 has always been a very important number to me because 7 is the number of songs that was on the first mix CD that I ever owned. And I have tried for years to locate the original CD. I was hoping that before I made this video, I've been planning it for so long, that I'd be able to find that CD. I've been going through stuff at my parents occasionally and that sort of thing, but I haven't been able to find it. I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to show it to you. Sorry for the long intro on this one. It's just a very delicate and special episode to me, obviously, these being the first songs that I ever got into. So please be sure to leave a like on the video and let me know if you would like to see me try harder to dig up that CD, if you guys would be interested in seeing it and maybe even doing a video surrounding it, kind of playing it, talking about it, and reacting to some of my memories about it. Anyways, let's go ahead and kick it off with the first pick. These are in no particular order because I cannot remember the track listing on the CD. So obviously the songs that made it onto the CD aren't necessarily my favorites from that artist. It's just something that I owe a lot to because they got me to check out more of their stuff, and obviously still loving them to this day. Really every single band here I'm still a massive fan of, and the first of those is Beverly Hills by WEEZER off of their album Make Believe. Arguably one of their worst albums, one of their worst and cheesiest singles, but at the same time, if this song comes on, I'm still going to be vibing to it just because it takes me back to that time. It's kind of a silly song, and WEEZER are nerdy as hell, and watching them play at the Playboy Mansion, play their guitars, kick soccer balls around and stuff, it was captivating to me as a kid because I was like, who are these guys? And this song, it doesn't really fit the video at all, but it lured me into checking out more of their stuff, sitting there watching Loaded Blocks on Fuse, them playing their old and new music videos, and that's something that definitely exposed me to more of their material, made me go back and eventually buy a lot of their albums, including Pinkerton, the Blue Album, Maladroit, and obviously the love has continued through the years, all the way up through the White Album and probably the Black Album right around the corner. I've said this in video form before, but the White Stripes definitely caught my attention early on with their aesthetic, the way that they presented themselves with their color scheme, like red, white, black mainly, primarily. I actually at one point painted one of my bathrooms to match those colors growing up, and it was something that I just found to be awesome. So it all started with Blue Orchid, and obviously the love grew from there, but this song really blossomed it because I fell in love with those fast riffs, just the dun, 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 and the kind of high-pitched vocals, which were very unusual to me at the time, and Jack White coming through with kind of an off-kilter vocal performance, and then those banging drum beats from Meg. Obviously, I was kind of inclined to be like, I need to hear more of this, and more I did hear. Obviously, I got their album Get Behind Me Satan, and then went backwards, checked out Elephant, was all over Icky Thump whenever that came out, and was devastated whenever they broke up, and I'm still a huge fan of them to this day. In fact, I'm planning to do some videos on them this summer. So it all started with Blue Orchid, and I'm super, super grateful that this is where it started, because yes, it is one of their more mainstream friendly songs, but at the same time, it got me to love so much more about them. You guys knew this one was coming. Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day remains my favorite song of all time to this day. It's something that is untouched and unscathed by its peers. Now I have to give a shout out to my friend Phil, who made me my first ever mixed CD and some subsequent releases after that. A lot of mixed CDs piled up. I remember being so stoked the day that we'd been out skating. He finally got his CD burner working again. I don't know what had been wrong for it, but I remember anxiously standing in his garage while he was doing it, just waiting. Like, what songs is he gonna put on there? I didn't even know. My friends gravitated towards this song, showed it to me, and I was just in another world. I was out of my mind excited the first time that I ever got to listen to this song by myself, because I was paying attention to every single note, every vocal melody, everything about the song was insanely good to me. I would even, like, just to make sure, even if I didn't have my CD player, I had a tape player too, and I would rip the song from the radio to a cassette just so that I could make sure that I had a copy of it somewhere wherever I went. I'm not going to sit here and beat you over the head with it just because most of you probably already know how I feel about Green Day and this song in general, but yeah, of course it's here. Of course it was on my first ever mixed CD. Like I said earlier, I recently did my top 10 Queens of the Stone Age video, and Little Sister did place on there because it has such a special place in my heart, and this is me giving you a little bit more insight into that one. Now, Queens of the Stone Age, I unfortunately didn't get into all of their stuff right away, but I did have a fair amount of songs from their album Lullabies to Paralyze. I was able to get this one obviously first, and then within a couple of years, I had the majority of the songs downloaded, finally bought the album, fell in love, got more of their stuff, but it wasn't until like late high school that I just totally immersed myself in their discography, probably even early college if I'm being quite honest. But with this song Little Sister, I heard the cowbell that opened it up, and then I continued to hear this one on the radio. Obviously this was on my CD, but it got me more and more into it and wanting to come back to the CD because I would hear it on the radio, and just something about that infectious groove that the guitars present there and the kind of dark and strange lyrics on it. I remember playing this for my friend Sam, and he was like, "What is this song about?" And I was like, I have no idea, but that was like the best part about it to me. Oh, your first ever taste of hard rock and metal. I know everybody probably remembers that, especially if they're into that style of music, and I remember being just totally caught off guard by this music that was being presented here with System of a Down, especially that "Why They Always Send the Bar," that opening shout on B.Y.O.B, "Bring Your Own Bombs," a very, very politically charged track, one that I'm going to be talking about in more detail. I have a Patreon request for top 10 System of a Down, and I'm also inspired to rank their albums. So I'm going to be doing that over on ARTV. Make sure you're subscribed to that channel as well so you don't miss out. I heard this song and then I heard more stuff off of their album Mesmerize and then Hypnotize in the fall, and I was really just caught off guard and didn't expect myself to love it as much as I did. But I kept coming back to Serj Tankian's vocals and then Darren Malakian, the way that they harmonized on these moments, and the shouted parts, and then just kind of the weird interlude on B.Y.O.B, which was much more chill and kind of vibe. Everybody's going to the party, have a real good time. And I would sing along to this. I remember the day that I got the mix CD, just playing it over and over again. I think this one was like track 6 out of 7 on the CD, and it makes sense that I'm talking about this later in the video here. But I was playing it on the way to the pool, and my parents had like no idea. I had the CD player and a pair of headphones. They probably thought I was listening to like a Tim McGraw CD. Nope, I was falling in love with System of a Down.
By the time you come home, I'm already stoned. You turn off the TV and you scream at me.
I'm still an avid supporter of 3 Days Grace's early material. It might not be the most complex thing in the world, but really everything up through Life Starts Now was really solid hard rock material. Even though it was very mainstream and radio friendly, it was something that does feel dated in a way, but at the same time it's not like you can't go back to it and have fun listening to it. And Home honestly still stands as my favorite song from them. It was the first song that I was handed to, and I was like, oh, wow, I like this. This is cool. This is different. And by like the third play, I was like, I can't stop listening to this. I know I'm saying that about every song here, but this was seriously like a whole new world to me. I didn't know what I was getting into, but I wanted more of it. And Home kind of perpetuated this idea of just loneliness, emptiness, and I did feel that way. It was something that was confirmed by Boulevard as well, a song that helped me through so many dark times. That's why it remains my favorite song of all time. But Home did that for me as well. I like the way that he kind of hit home the lyrics about like not actually feeling at home in your own home, wanting to get out. And I would feel that way. I wanted to go skate with my friends, or I wanted to go to school and talk to people who got it instead of my parents who were living in like the 1960s and then pushing that off on me. Obviously they understand more now and kind of get what I do, but at that time I did kind of feel outcast in my own home, didn't feel accepted, so songs like this just meant the world to me. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the shirt that I'm wearing. I saved one of the best for last, My Chemical Romance. Still my second favorite band of all time. If you saw my top 10 favorite bands video, then you know that. Helena was the song that started it all. That one, and quickly after that, I'm Not Okay, I Promise. But Helena was the one that just sparked my curiosity. I was like, this is very, very theatrical. I had heard stuff that was like inspired by that. I guess My Chemical Romance were inspired by the theatric stuff in the first place, but they just had a big vibe to them, and I dug it instantly. And Gerard Way's vocals, especially the way he would sing things like, tonight. He was so passionate and over the top. I started listening to their material, loving more theatric stuff. It inspired me to check out other bands like Panic at the Disco, more emo stuff as well, some older stuff like Sunny Day Real Estate, and honestly, I can thank them for really shaping my music taste along with Green Day big time, because these were the two biggest ones out of the 7 songs on that first ever mix CD that I just totally fell head over heels for, could not get enough of their sound. I hope you guys didn't mind too much seeing a longer episode today. It was something that I just feel really passionate about, obviously because it means a lot to me, my upbringing, where I got my start in music and falling in love with music and that sort of thing. So be sure to leave a like on the video and let me know what other episodes of 7 on Sunday you'd like to see. It would mean a lot to me if you're able to help me out on Patreon, obviously during these hard times and the ad crisis, all that good stuff. My Patreon is that annotation over there in the corner, or else the top link in the description. Those 2 videos I was telling you about, the top 10 Queens of the Stone Age, and the other one that I was talking about, 10-year love affair with music, are right here. My social media's in the description, and other than that, I'll see you very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.